Here's something only top gym owners know. Your current clients are your best source of red hot leads. Today on Run a Profitable Gym, you'll find out how Daniel Purington uses affinity marketing at Woodslawn Fitness in Oregon. I'm Mike Warkentin. Please hit subscribe wherever you're watching or listening so you don't miss a show just like this. Quick intro. Affinity marketing is all about replicating your best clients. Instead of fighting through cold traffic produced by ads, you focus on your current clients and the people closest to them. This approach has a ton of value. You're going to save time and money. You're going to increase set, show, and close rates in your sales funnel. You're going to increase average revenue per member and length of engagement. And you'll also ensure that your gym is serving the exact people that it was created to serve, not a bunch of random tourists who bolt at the first sign of burpees. Nothing wrong with paid advertising, but if you focus on it first before affinity marketing, you've got the order wrong. Daniel Purington is a two-brain gym owner he's a gym owner and a two-brain mentor, and he's going to tell you how to get the order right. Daniel, welcome from Oregon, early on the West Coast. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Always a pleasure. I love talking to you about this stuff because I know that you're one of our mentors who has systems dialed in and you're always have got so much insight on this topic. So you told me before the show a little bit about your system where you're not running paid ads. Tell me a little bit about that first so people know that you're legit and you know what you're talking about here.
Yeah. So for about 7 years, we've leveraged an organic and affinity based marketing. We have run some brand awareness. So just about $30, $40 a month to kind of get our name out there, but no lead capture or anything of that nature. So essentially, we have a system where, and we'll talk about this further, where the way that we collect Google reviews, the way that we do our goal reviews allows us to tell the stories in our social media consistently on our email list. And then, within posting on Google, all kind of focusing on increasing that SEO. And then once that right person comes in, they're seeing and hearing the same message consistently throughout. We're getting that message in our seed client reviews, in our goal reviews, post no sweat intro, post on ramp, and then essentially using that to build our future clientele base.
Yeah. So you are not using paid ads to fill your gym. You are using affinity marketing first. And you said 7 years and you've run very few paid ads other than outside a little bit of branding, correct?
Yeah, we haven't actually run a lead capture ad, I think, ever on Meta. We do hey, this is who we have, this is who we work with, this is who we help. Like that's the extent of it. It's just hey, we're out there. It doesn't even have a call to action on it.
So your leads are coming not through paid channels, they're coming through organic channels. Again, Two Brain Mentors will teach you gym owners how to set up all your systems. So you've got all the different funnels working, including paid ads and affinity referrals and so forth. We're going to focus just on affinity and referrals here, and Daniel's the man to talk about it. So tell me about it. How does the affinity program work at Woodslawn?
Yeah, so it really starts in the no sweat intro process. And what I mean by that is we start talking about goal reviews there. When we're doing that no sweat intro and we're setting someone up for their on-ramp, we're laying their on-ramp out. Our on-ramp works over 5 weeks. And we're setting the stage for week 5 when we're going to ask them for a Google review and schedule their goal review. So we're getting that in a system. We've tried to leverage some automations for collection of Google reviews and scheduling of goal reviews and have had limited success there. And we've just found that like in a world of automation, people really want some connection. And so this is a boots on a ground approach. So we just line it out. So that sets us up with like, I know I'm going to talk to my newest members at day 90. That really allows us to dig into what and why they didn't come in. So then we can gauge a lot of our writing about that within our lead nurture, within our social media, how we do our whiteboard briefs. That permeates out into a very deliberate Google and goal review strategy that we have where it's coach centric. So we need big coach buy-in. So we're educating our coaches on the value of goal reviews, how it increases our retention, how if we increase our retention, you get to see athletes progress over time, and help celebrate their wins. So then they get excited and recognize the value of that. So then we can teach them assumptive language. So when they go up to athletes, they can confidently say, hey, around this time of year is when we do our goal reviews. I have 4 to 5 slots next week. Which one do you want? We can do it over the phone. It takes 15 minutes and I won't make you do extra burpees. Like that is literally the spiel that we say. Yeah. That starts to capture where we're seeing progress. And we have a full structured outline. It's very similar to the one that you're going to get in the Two Brain Toolkit, where we're asking, tell us about your progress. Do you want to speed the progress up? Do you have new goals, etc.? But what we're really trying to understand is like, are we fulfilling on our three pillars? Are they having a great experience? Are they learning something new? And do they feel the power of our coaching? Because we sell coaching, not programming, not equipment. So I want to know that so that we can make adjustments if we need to in their program.
Right.
This
so super interesting,
like,
Dan. I'm going to interrupt just for 1 second, just listeners. The first thing Daniel's done here, he's got this stuff built into his no sweat intro. The very first parts of his client journey, he's telling people this will happen here. Be ready for it. He has it scripted. This is going to happen. This is how the staff delivers it. It's all laid out. So it's a little bit more difficult if you don't have goal reviews in place, because you have to like change the direction of the ship a little bit. And some of your existing members are like, I don't know what this is. But if you start telling new members, this happens here, this happens here, this is part of our service, it sets you apart as an elite service provider, and it lets them know that this is happening. I am going to ask you for a Google review in 5 weeks. They're not surprised by it because you told them it was coming. This sets, lays the tracks, everything runs in a great spot. The other thing you said, I love automation as much as the next person, but so does everybody else, and people are getting sick of it. So if you run a small gym, and I'm talking like 200, 300 members, something like that, you tell me you can't reach out to your members personally, you got to automate everything, that is a bad plan for retention. You should definitely use systems and robots and AI and all this stuff to like streamline workflow. You cannot automate your client relationships without hurting your membership. So don't do that. Daniel's got a plan. Exactly how we talk to people. We know our clients. Come on in. Here's your goal review. We're going to celebrate them and all this other stuff. So don't miss those two important points that he laid out, because that is critical. Get to the next part. I interrupt you, Daniel. Keep going, please.
Yeah, you're good. So one of the things that, to touch on the Google review is oftentimes we ask people for a Google review, but they don't know what to write.
Yeah.
Give them the question you want answered so you can tell the stories that you want to tell. So with us, when you finish the on-ramp, we say, can you please write us a Google review about your experience in the on-ramp? Why? Because my gym specializes in beginners. I want my Google reviews littered with your onboarding process. I was skeptical. I was intimidated. I had never touched a barbell before. That's what I want. And guess what I do with all those words? I grab them. I incorporate them into my organic emails, into my social media. We use our social media for verification, not lead generation. So I want somebody going to my social media and saying, yes, I belong there. That's what we're using that for. If I can use the same words there that they're going to see when they check out my Google reviews, that they're going to get in the first lead nurture coming in, they start to see a pattern. They start to see consistency. They start to see themselves in your gym, thus getting them more comfortable, thus decreasing the barrier of entry to cross your threshold. And then once they sit down at your table, they should be ready to go.
I love what you said there about seeding the clouds. You don't say, hey, could you leave me a Google review? You say, hey, could you write a Google review and tell me about this exact on-ramp experience, and tell me how it, your fears were addressed and how you got up to speed, how I integrate, like whatever you said there, it was perfect. So guys, when you're out there doing Google reviews and asking for them, don't just say, hey, would you give me a review? Help them help them say what you want them to say. And you're not putting words in their mouth. You're just asking them to describe a certain thing that's going to help you. And then of course that stuff is out there publicly. You can use it anywhere you want. And if you're in a small local community, like all of us are for the most part, someone's going to Google, they'll see that stuff pop up. The reviews are on the side, and they might see, hey, that's my friend Bob or whatever it is. And they start to understand these things. And if you send this out to your mailing lists, away you go. So this is just like, you are getting a ton of marketing content without paid ads. This is just by following this process. So take me a little further in this. You're sending these emails out, you got this content in there, and you said when people see this stuff, they eventually come in and they're pre-sold essentially, correct?
Right. Yep. Yeah. And so really important as with an organic and affinity-based marketing is you're tracking how your sales are going. And what I mean by that is we have a sales doc. It has the coach's name, the date, the potential member, and then it has a subjective. What are they looking for? Why are they here? What do we think is the best fit? And then our next column is, how did they find us? It's color coordinated in ours. Red is Google, green is drive-by, blue is member referral. And we have another one. I don't remember what that is because it never comes up. So I can take a snapshot and see like where our members are coming from. Then I can immediately look into the left column, look at their name, be like, oh, that's potentially a seed client. How did they find us? What's their subjective? So I'm continually evolving my program because I'm tracking what's happening when it comes into the no sweat intro. Like it's a standard process. We've used that sales doc for probably 5 years now. It's easily the most valuable thing absent my on-ramp that I have built in the business. And that's what it gives us the information to solve problems. And we solve problems, and then we put it on all of our channels.
Doesn't sound complicated at all. It sounds like you're looking at a color coordinated thing. Like I bet, like if I looked at your document and I looked at the column header and I looked at the colors, I bet I could tell exactly where your leads are coming from in about 14 seconds, right? That's the simplicity of it. It doesn't have to be unbelievably complicated. Marketing can be, but it doesn't need to be, especially if you're only looking for 200 to 300 clients. Right. Keep it simple. But if you look at this document, I bet I'll see a bunch of, those came from Google. These are referrals. I know exactly what's working, what's not. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about those referrals, because that's one of the key parts of affinity marketing is we're asking people, we're not waiting. We're saying, hey, is there someone who's helped you on this journey? Can we reward them, bring them in for a 2-on-1 session? There's a lot of different approaches to this, but the long and the short of it is if you're doing it right, you're going to sit down ahead of a goal review session. You're going to think, who has this client mentioned? Okay, there's Bob, the baseball buddy, and there's Cynthia, the wife, or whatever it is. And then you're going to ask for a person by name. Hey, you mentioned Bob and his back trouble. He'd like to start feeling a bit better. What would it take to get him in here? That's one approach that Chris Cooper has recommended for years. Daniel, tell me about how you get these referrals.
It starts in a no sweat intro, because we're asking who in your life is supporting you through this. Are you married? Do you have kids? Where do you work? Like, that's part of the subjective. Like, part of the subjective is, what does their home life look like, right? Yep. We want to know who that is. We want to know if they have 2 or 3 kids, because then we know when we're giving them their prescription, like, we really need to be conscious of school drop-off, school pickup, things of that nature. So we start collecting that information right in the beginning. And then, kind of like what we talked about right in the beginning of our conversation, coaches have to be heavily involved. They have to want to establish a relationship to ask those questions so they don't come across as stale, right? We're adding into our organic marketing. We tell the story of how you came in when we do our athlete celebration. Jolene came in through a no sweat intro. This is what she talked to Jonathan about. Then she progressed into this type of on-ramp because this is what she told Jonathan. Now she's going to go do this so that she can get out, go do her attorney job, go do whatever she needs to do. So we're consistently reminding both our current membership and anyone that's looking at our group, this is who we help, this is who we work with. So we're setting the seed around that when someone's friend says, I'm really looking to get into shape, they say, oh, hey, I did this great on-ramp over to Woodslawn. And that's exactly what happens when we get member referrals. My friend mentioned your on-ramp, my friend whatnot. So it's a deliberate effort to continue to educate people how the system works, how the process works, how you feel supported, and always finishing it off with, if you don't believe us, check out our Google reviews. Right? So it's a big circle.
It's all wrapped together. And if you do this partly, or if you kind of do it for a month and then leave it, it's not going to work. Daniel said a couple of times now, you have to have staff buy-in. If you're a sole proprietor, you have to buy into this. You have to do it all the time. You can't just do this system once in a while. One of the things that we recommend is doing an annual plan and putting, for example, a bring a friend event on your calendar. That's something that you can do as a very calculated affinity marketing play, and you do it on a schedule. You don't do them every week or every weekend because it's not special. You do it every quarter or every 4 or 5 months, whatever it is, but you do them 3 or 4 times a year, and you're saying to your members, hey, bring Bob to this thing. We're going to solve some problems. We're going to do a short, quick workout, super fun. We're going to talk afterwards, and you have a sales process laid out to talk to people, trying to get them to do no sweat intros on the spot, or at worst, book them for a no sweat intro down the line if they're ready to talk yet. But that's the idea, is all this stuff has to be done systematically, and you lay it out. Two Brain Business Mentor has it laid out for you. You can just copy, plug and play and do the work, but you can't do this once in a while. You can't do it. You have to invest in this repeatedly. Do you do any bring a friend events or any annual planning type stuff?
Yeah. So we do an annual events plan. So we do our annual planning for what our goals are, then what our programming looks like, and then what our events are. So January is pretty packed for us. We do 2 types of event. We do lead generation, which we would consider a bring a friend event, and then we do retention events. So this year we're heavily focused on retention because we hit a soft cap in January. Like, unless you come in very specifically looking for this time, I don't have anything to offer for you. So I'm pivoting my model to retention. So back to the pillars we talked about, whether you're running a bring a friend event or a retention event, they need to have a great experience. They need to learn something new, and they need to feel the power of your coaching. So with that, when we do a bring a friend event, we're talking through that lens, or we're having our coaches talk through that lens at the whiteboard when we're generating interest around that bring a friend event. They're going to have fun. We're going to teach them a new skill. They're going to feel the power of the coaching you get to feel every day. We try not to say they're going to have this great sweaty workout, right? Because we know our demographic tends to come in a little bit intimidated. They want coaching, and we sell coaching. We want our members to talk about coaching. Similarly, for the retention events, we're inviting them to bring their friends and family to watch them do something cool. There's always more friends and family than we have athletes. It happens every single time, and we will invariably pull members from that, like new members from obviously. That. Like wife comes in, husband comes in and be like, oh, these guys aren't the crazy crackpots that I thought they were, right? I know you come home and you have this, this, and this. And I was like, whoa, it's too much for me. But then they come in and they see how much we care. They see how much thought we put into it. But having it structured, you don't want to have it inundated. We run through a couple of like digital retention where we have these month-long challenges that specifically focus on engagement, where we have leaderboards of like whoever comments, likes, and logs the most workouts in SugarWOD gets X. We're trying to drive community, right? That's the whole purpose there, because we know the stronger the community, the stronger our retention gets, right? Our next event will be a bring a friend event. And so we're alternating them throughout. But like you said, if you don't do a plan, all of a sudden you're like, well, I got to do this one. I got to do this one. Oh, there's a shiny light over here. Right? We run 2 bring a friends and 4 retention events.
Scheduled already. There you are.
They're all scheduled. Yep. And
listeners, if you don't have that, you're behind. You need to schedule the stuff a year out so you actually do it.
Coaches are assigned to them too. We give them the autonomy to run the events. We pay them for that because, again, a retention event or a bring a friend event, it's a marketing cost one way or another. I'm marketing to my current members that we're still the place for them, or I'm marketing to my potential members. I would much rather pay my coaches than Zuckerberg to get new members in. So all the way back to the Google and goal review process, we pay our coaches to do goal reviews. We have a challenge. If you do a Google review and a goal review, then you get a t-shirt. Because I factor that into marketing costs. Because if I can keep that person longer, the lifetime value that we can provide to that client's higher, the continuity that they have between your coaches is higher. That increases your affinity reach immediately. The longer somebody is with you, the more opportunity they have to talk about you. Right? So being deliberate, recognizing what's the value of this. And if I can get my coaches to buy in and we get to do this standard process, it works. And then I get to pay them more. They get more invested buy-in, and then we get the people that come through the door that we want to come in.
Yeah, the snowball rolls downhill really fast and gets big. And like listeners, Daniel's at an interesting spot where he's not looking for more clients because he's kind of maxed out. Well, that's a great spot to be, but then his focus turns to retention. I want to hold these clients for 4 years or 5 years or 10 years or whatever the most that you can do. Industry average retention is not very good. It's in the realm of like 12 to 14 months. 2Brain clients are well over 24. Some of them are in the 48 to like 60 months and beyond. I know some member, I think there was a member on the show, he celebrated like 3,000, his gym owner celebrated his like 3,000th workout or something strange like that. Like think about the lifetime value of these clients. Daniel's done a really interesting thing though. With these retention events, I love how he's holding on to his clients, but there's like a marketing seed in there. So it's instead of like a bring a friend necessarily like come do a workout with me, where some people are like, no, I'm not doing your crazy stuff. He's saying, come celebrate this client, come watch my client do a workout. So they come in, they do this retention event, their friends and family come in and they watch and celebrate. And like, come on, like that's so obvious that that's a retention play, but it's a marketing play too, because all these people who see that happening, exactly what Daniel said, these people aren't crazy. This could be a place for me. My friend is having success. I feel the energy. I really like it here. All of a sudden you see where these people are coming from. So that's like, that's less obvious perhaps than a bring a friend event where you're both going to do a partner workout, but it works really well. And I'll tell you too, you don't have to do a bring a friend event as a workout. You could do a bring a friend events where it's just like, coffee and snacks in the morning, come check out the gym. We'll talk, we'll have a conversation. You could do a nutrition seminar. You could do literally anything. You do not have to run a workout. You can do anything that gets a current member to bring another member into the gym. And Daniel's done a great version of that with his retention play. Daniel, can you tell me a little bit about your average revenue per member and length of engagement? Those numbers I'm guessing are very good.
Yeah. So our average revenue per member, it kind of depends on which on-ramp they come in through, whether they come in through our small group strength or our CrossFit one. But we hover in the mid 300s. Sometimes it's a little bit higher than that, depending upon what stage they're in. Length of engagement is going to be north of 36 months. I mean, I still have the first 4 members we had Not when we started 8 years ago, but when I started 9 years ago in my garage,
Yeah.
right? So currently we accept 4 people per month for an on-ramp. That's it.
Right.
Like we are capped. So that tells you what our churn is. I do have a small gym, but our membership base is about 170. We operate in a little bit less than 2,000 square feet when you put both of my rooms together. And so we're keeping those people around very, very consistently. With the Bring a Friend event, something that we tried adding a couple of years ago that has worked amazingly well is we associate our Bring a Friend event with a charity now.
Oh,
So
cool.
we, instead of like just bring your friend in for a workout, bring your friend in and support this. So we have 2 charities we support. There's a puppy shelter in town, and our members love dogs. If you look at my Instagram, every third post is dogs. The other one is we have a program in downtown Portland that pays for after school physical activities for kids that can't afford it. So we associate our 2 Bring a Friends event with the puppy one is bring leashes, collars, water bottles. The athletic one is make a donation to here. Mm-hmm. So we're adding one more level of like, hey, come in, do a workout, and make a difference in your community. Mm-hmm. It's one more buy-in way. It really works.
Yeah, I love that. Why wouldn't I come and support puppies if I love puppies? Oh, this is a great gym. They like dogs too. This is people like me doing stuff that, oh, I should join. Like it's also obvious when you lay it out. But again, if you don't do it systematically, it doesn't happen. And then you're like, I should just buy Facebook ads. But then you're going to the cold leads, not the warm leads that are so close to your business. You just need to give those warm leads an idea or an opportunity to engage with your business. And Daniel has laid out a ton of them. Listeners, think about this. Daniel's running at about 2,000 square feet. He's got about 170 members. His ARM is about $300. His length of engagement is north of 36 months. Do the math on that, and you see how this business works really, really well. The really cool part about that, he has 170 members, give or take. That's not a lot. You could have a very close personal relationship with each of those members, which means that they're tied more closely to your business. And when a few of them leave for whatever reason, like they move to another city or whatever, it's not that hard to replace them because he doesn't need to find 30 members a month just to break even. He needs to find like 4 or something, like probably less because his retention is so good. So we need to replace like 1 or 2 members a month. Your affinity funnel can easily do that if you just have it running, right? Because you're not replacing, like you don't have a month, Daniel, where like, oh, I need 30 clients to break even, right?
No, in fact, we run hypotheticals and when we're making decisions, we're like, what if this works and we get 10 members?
Yo, what happens if I get too many?
And then sometimes we don't do it, like legit. And I don't mean to do that as like a brag or a boast, but like you get to the stage where your machine is working the way you want it to work, and then you have to look at both angles of it. So it's really important.
Yeah, you've maxed your space, and that's exactly what you want to do. So I've talked to you about this before. Your revenue per square foot is off the charts. You're not looking to get 10 million members. You're trying to find the very best people that you can possibly serve and keep them forever at a high rate because they're getting what you want or what they want and you're serving them properly. So listeners out there, you think about your business model. And again, if you haven't thought of a business model, this is where Two Brain Mentor comes in saying, what should we be running in this space with how many staff members, with how many clients, at what price, with which programs to make this business work? When I started, I opened a gym, I bought a bunch of square feet and I just said, we'll throw barbells in there and we'll do a bunch of CrossFit stuff. And like, it kind of worked because it was 2010, but it doesn't work anymore. So the business model is super important and maximizing that revenue per square foot. All of this is like by the numbers, spreadsheet kind of stuff. Daniel's laid it all out for you. And as a mentor, he can do the same thing for you when you work together because it's very obvious. I'll ask you this, Daniel, when you talk to mentor or your mentees about affinity marketing, what do you recommend first? How do you get them? Like, what are the steps that you give them to start this program? Because we have affiliate owners or gym owners build 4 different funnels. The referral funnel, which is all affinity, is the first one we work on. What do you do with your mentees?
Yeah, so I mean, we talk about the value of our goal review, but we start kind of with a seed client review. And I want to include that into some other things that we leverage coaches for. I have 2 other coaches in the gym that also do seed client reviews. Right. So we don't have any bias. We get a great picture of what everyone is. That seed client review starts to set the foundation of like, what do I want the next client to look like? Maybe we get the referral right from that seed client. If anything, we're getting a general idea of what problems I'm solving for this person. What do they like? What do they not like? How am I making their life easier? And is there something else I can do to make their life easier? Then we're taking that in And if we're not yet doing no sweat intros, we want to start that no sweat intro process, and then starting to mention the goal review and saying, hey, we're going to check in with you at week 5, schedule your goal review, which essentially is a no sweat intro. 90 days later, we just know each other better, right? Then it's implementing it within your overall membership base. That one takes a little bit longer. The thing that I tell people to do is start educating your clients about the value of it before you ask for it. And I mean, spend some time. A couple of emails here or there, a social media post, a sugar bar post here or there, it doesn't help. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be direct with your message so they start to see the value of sitting down with one of your coaches or yourself, planning out what their next 90, 120, 180 days. I use a ton of sarcasm. Like, I'm not going to prescribe you more burpees unless you want to get better at burpees. I'm not going to tell you to eat only kale. Like, I use a lot of that because my demographic is 35 plus. They're like, I don't have time for them. Like, look, you have 15 minutes for a phone call. I'm not going to make you do things you don't want to. I literally want to know how your goals have changed, how I can hold you accountable, how I can provide you the coaching that you need to be successful here. And then on your way, I'll see you on Tuesday. Right. So that's the process by which I start. If it's a new gym that has not established that, or a new gym to me has not established that.
Let's leave listeners with one thing that they can do. So let's assume that someone is listening right now has not done any sort of affinity marketing, and they're saying, I don't know where to start. What is the one thing that they should get off this podcast and do right after this? What would you tell that gym owner to do?
Well, I would say, I'm going to go 2 quick things. Number 1, I would go look at your Google reviews and mine for consistencies. What consistencies are showing up in there, and how are people talking about your business? That's a great way to start regurgitating some of that in your organic social media, your emails. Then I would implement a seed client review. These are the people that you love seeing come through the door that pay you higher. If you don't have like a big delta between pay, just do the person who's been with you the longest, who I like seeing coming through the door, who's been with us for the longest. Take them out for coffee, make it deliberate. Don't sit on a box after class for 10 minutes, everybody's sweaty, and try to do this. This needs to be a deliberate, show value here, learn why they're here, learn what challenges you've solved for them. Then you can progress into like, is there someone else into your life? But I would start with that, with the seed client reviews, and then working into your goal reviews with your new people, and then progressing into goal reviews with your longer term members.
So listeners, you can, right after this podcast end, you can go ask some of your very best members, could you write me a Google review and see the clouds by saying about this thing? Could you write about how easy it was to start here? Or could you write about the value of the coaching, or whatever you're trying to promote to your avatar? Do that. The other thing that Daniel's got going on here is the seed client review. Now, this is a concept that comes from the Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz, who, by the way, is the keynote speaker at the Two Brain Summit that is upcoming in June. I will tell you a secret. The early bird pricing ends for that on April 1st. Get your tickets in the show notes, via the link in the show notes, to see Mike Michalowicz talk about this in person. But the idea is you find out who your best clients are. They're usually the people that make you happiest and pay you the most money. Easy to figure that out. And then you just sit down with them, ask them some questions. Daniel laid them all out. You find out why they're there, what problems you're solving. And then you realize, this is what I'm doing right. This is what I need to do more of. And then eventually say, is there anyone else in your life? And often these clients will say, yeah, like I would love to get X into the gym. I just not sure what to do. And you're like, okay, let's do that right now. Let's give them a call right now and invite them for a 2-on-1 session. Or you could do the bring a friend event. Any of these things work really well. Chris Cooper has laid this out many, many times. But the point being, you have to do this process. So if I were you, I was out there, I'd ask some clients for Google reviews. I would then ask a few of your very best clients to have a 15-minute cup of coffee or 30 minutes, ask them some questions to find out why they're at your gym, what problems you solve for them, who else in their lives needs a bit of help. You will get at least one referral out of that, if not 10. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Would you agree, Daniel?
Yeah. Your best clients want you to win. They want you to be around. They want to see you succeed. And people like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about the successes they've had. Give them the platform to do so.
Yep. And you think about it, it's just like everyone says, oh, have you heard this new band or tried this new iPhone or whatever? When you get into something, you want everyone around you to know about it and do it too. The same concept exists with your gym. If you give people the opportunity to do that, because oftentimes they won't do it unless you ask them. So referral as affinity marketing cannot be passive. It has to be active. We've showed you exactly how it works at ground level in Daniel's gym, and our Two Brain mentors have an exact plan to do that in your gym as well. Daniel, thank you so much for laying this out for us. We'll have you back on the show soon enough to talk more about what's going on in your gym, because you're doing great things.
Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Daniel Purington, this is Run a Profitable Gym. Thanks for watching and listening. We appreciate it. Please hit subscribe on this end of the show so that you don't miss an episode just like it. And now here's Two Brain founder Chris Cooper with a final message.
Hey, it's Two Brain founder Chris Cooper with a quick note. We created the Gym Owners United Facebook group to help you run a profitable gym. Thousands of gym owners just like you have already joined. In the group, we share sound advice about the business of fitness every day. I answer questions, I run free webinars, and I give away all kinds of great resources to help you grow your gym. I'd love to have you in that group. It's Gym Owners United on Facebook, or go to gymownersunited.com to join. Do it today.